Hello.
All right. Guys, leave a comment to force Cailin to watch WandaVision.
I mean, hopefully I will have watched it by the time this episode goes out. At least start to watch it.
Well, I wanted to... I think I was like lower. I think we're fine. Anyway.
Yeah. How's your camera? You got enough headroom there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I was going to say it'll be good for the Patreon thing where...
Patreon.
We do watch shows we both watch, and I feel like that's a good starting point. So you need...
The show that we have watched.
Yes. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome back.
To another episode of First Reaction Fan Reaction. I'm your host, Dara Whitman, and here with me is my lovely co-host.
I'm Cailin Cluley.
We're back.
We're back. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Thanks for bearing with us.
Because, you know, Cailin's a germaphobe.
No,
You're a germaphobe.
That's overstating. Listen, I work with a vulnerable population,
which is you.
With an even more vulnerable population, and I was trying to be safe. I don't think we should shame people for being safe.
We want to wait till we're both vaccinated, which we are.
Fully vaccinated. Which one did you get, Dara?
I don't know.
You don't. How do you not know?
I think whichever one I only had to wait 3 weeks in between.
It's probably Pfizer.
Okay.
That's. I think I was 5. Yeah, 3 weeks. I had Pfizer. But yeah, it's on your card.
I know. I don't remember. I'll look it up later because I can't. I think I remember where I put the physical card, but I also took a picture of the card just in case.
Yes, it's good to have. Make sure that you have that information available in case anyone ever needs it. And everyone go get vaccinated
if you can.
If you're able to, if you apply for it, hopefully more people apply soon.
Yes.
Everyone's supposed to be in the United States is supposed to be eligible by May 1st. So hopefully that happens.
We are both vaccinated,
and that's why essential employees.
So that's why we were waiting until that happened. But
yes.
We have been doing stuff on Patreon.
So if you are really into us, that's where you can find us.
Yes, we said we were going to start doing live streams.
We did.
We did. We did one on Valentine's Day where we just talked a bit and then also watched After We Collided and regretted it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yep, and then the last one we did for March was just a hangout.
We're just chilling.
Because I miss Cailin so much.
I know, because we haven't seen each other for so long.
And then, we're going to do one in April where, we talk more. And I'm going to force Cailin to watch 365 Days.
It's going to be great.
Yep, and I said it on camera, so it has to happen now.
Oh, gosh. Is that how that works?
Well, I'm also editing this, so it has to happen. And I need this pain to go away.
Okay.
It's been almost a year.
That's a long time.
Yep, but so go over to patreon.com/wittyclothes and, I think that's because I don't think we set up tiers yet, so that's just probably for $1 you can get all that.
Yeah, it's it's not expensive because life is hard right now.
Yeah, and, soon we'll have up some more stuff.
More content.
More content, everybody. But, and then hopefully we'll set up goals and tiers later on when we don't forget or have other stuff going on or just need to, we had a day and just need to lay down and eat popcorn.
Sometimes that happens. I have those days.
Yes. Okay. Pushing Daisies.
Pushing Daisies.
All right, we're back.
We're finally back. What's going on?
A lot.
Okay.
So if you remember from the last episode, some stuff happened. Ned and Olive were in a cooking contest and won.
That was fun. I enjoyed that part.
There was a waffle Nazi.
That was a thing.
And cannibalism.
Also a thing.
Oh, and also, there was an insurance for a guy named Dwight Dixon, and we needed to figure out what his deal was. So we had to bring Chuck's father back, Charles to life. But then Chuck was all like, I'm going to keep him alive. And then Dwight Dixon, who was in proximity, ended up dying. And that whole shabil. Ah! You okay?
No.
And then at the end of that episode, Ned came in and realized what happened, and Lee Placer's face went dry.
Yes, because we came to the realization that was not probably supposed to happen.
It probably wasn't supposed to happen. No. And then also just Chuck fucked up.
I think that is fair to say.
Yes. I still love her.
Big time.
Feels like you understand why she did what she did, but also...
Yeah, honey, that wasn't a good idea.
No.
This is a lot. There's a lot to process.
I kind of want to know.
We took 3 months between this, and it's still a lot to process.
What is your feelings on this one as a whole, with what Chuck did? How does that make you feel with her as a character? Is it a lot?
Great question. I think we're gonna end up talking a lot about this once we do we finish up the series and really goes to the live stream. I think I'm saving some stuff for the live stream as far as because this is such a big and interesting part. I think a very impactful part of the series.
She was such a good person who was moral, and then this.
Well, no, I don't think that she's a bad person for this because I think that it's like a thing that she's very emotionally invested in. So like that kind of comes with the territory. So I don't like fault. I don't know, like as much as like of course as we watch I'm like, honey, this was all your fault. It doesn't make me dislike her more as a character. I think it's very. I mean, their actions are pretty fall in line with like somebody who's going through it. So, but it's more of like how the show overall like handles it and goes forward with it. I think is really interesting.
Yeah,
I'll probably save that for when we actually go back and kind of discuss the series as a whole.
But we did watch an episode. Meanwhile,
yes,
So we're talking about episode 9, The Legend of Merle McQuoddy.
Yeah.
Not much of a legend.
Not much. It's pretty low key for your local folklore.
There's a lot that happens in this episode. Maybe not much with the mystery.
The mystery is like
it's there.
It's fun. I enjoy it. We're having a good time with it.
Yep. So the past, not much happens in the past. Mainly, we just see Chuck and her father playing with like toys and stuff while she has the chicken pox or whatever the scientific name for.
Whatever the scientific name, which I don't actually know.
I'll put it down here. I'll look it up.
Science.
I still never had the chicken pox.
Good for you.
Never will.
That's good.
I thought it was a bad thing if you never got the chicken pox because then there's a bigger chance you're gonna get shingles. Which is worse.
It's actually the other way around. I'm pretty sure if you did have chicken pox, then you're at risk for the shingles, which means I'm SOL. But if you got vaccinated against the chicken pox, then I think you're good.
Also, like, isn't it worse if you get chicken pox as an adult than as a child?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I'm fine. So that was the past. Back to the present. Remember?
You kept your father alive.
This looks bad.
Yeah, because it is
bad. It's horribly bad.
It can't be that bad. Not like I'm the first ghost he's ever seen.
Please say something.
He's up here.
Lily? Oh, get out!
Hey, remember that stuff?
Lily, Vivian, is that you?
We just kind of pick right on.
Pick
back
right
up.
on up. And
there we go.
Like, Ned's definitely mad and, like, upset.
Which is, like, valid.
Because, like, here's, like, I think because, like, this, I was, like, trying to, like, analyze Ned.
Yeah.
And, like, this is, like, a big thing he's always been afraid of, like, if people know about my power, this is what they're going to want to do.
Right. Like, really using it really against his knowledge, against his will to do things that are of questionable morality.
And, like, wanting to bring somebody up alive, like, longer than a minute.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing, putting the impact of, like, somebody's death on him. And who did that but the person he loves most?
Yes.
And the person he trusted most.
So, like, that's a lot to deal with.
That's a lot to deal with.
That's a lot to deal with.
Also, you got to deal with Charles.
Yeah.
Who we'll get to.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting one. We'll get to that.
And, like, his decomposing corpse.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine. He'd be fine today. Swear.
Right. Like, he was very covered up, and so that doesn't really faze many people today.
Yep. I love this. Ned realizes Chuck kept her father alive, and she admits it's bad. Which it is.
She consistently is like, this was bad. I should not have done this.
And
But also, I don't want to undo it. But also, that I understand that's probably pretty bad.
But but before like we can kind of get into like a discussion of this,
Yes.
Lily and Vivian, who that's where Ned went in the last episode. That's where we went to first, and then went across the street. Are like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So then everybody has to hide. Well, not everybody. Ned doesn't have to hide. And then like Lily and Vivian come in, and like Ned's trying to like distract them from the fact that like, hey, not only is your niece alive, but also this man who we've had relations with is your stepbrother who we've also had relations with.
That's a little tricky.
I don't get pissed. A gypsy once told me it brings on hemorrhoids.
Why can't I just go out there and talk to her?
No. After you were gone, Lily and Vivian moved into our old house to look after me. They can't know that we're alive again.
They're your aunts, button.
Except for the one that's my mother.
So you know.
Oh, yeah.
You're okay?
I mean,
No. None of this is okay.
you're not okay.
I'm not okay.
The stepbrother part of the relations part.
Yes.
I don't know. I've been like deep diving into VC Andrews again, so like I'm like step sibling is not the end of the world.
Continue.
Anyway, so the Ned's doing that. Meanwhile, I found this part interesting. So like Chuck and her dad are like in the closet like talking about stuff, and then Charles is like, why can't I just go out and talk to them? And then basically saying like, like basically why they can. And then Charles is like, oh, but they're aunts. And then Chuck's like, yeah, except the one who's my mother.
And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you knew about that?
And he's like, you okay? And then like we
You
kind of
good?
no, I'm not good.
No.
We don't bring that up again.
Yeah, we don't get that conversation. We don't get to have that conversation. We just get the acknowledgement that everyone's in the loop now, but we really don't have the conversation about
Not even
what
everybody's
that
like
means.
fully in the loop because like I don't know like if they know about the engagement part.
Yeah. Everyone's
I mean, granted, like with everything that goes on, you kind of feel like maybe deal with this stuff first, and then we'll deal with the whole oh, by the way, you were engaged to Vivian and then cheated on her with her sister and had me
yeah.
thing.
That's the whole
Which
thing.
we probably should deal with later. Hopefully Charles doesn't do anything rash.
Yeah, he's not. He's keeping a low profile.
Anyway, so we do that, and then we need to figure out a way to get Lily and Vivian out, and they start hearing banging in the closet, and then Lily shoots a clown toy.
Yeah.
Turns out Lily is terrified of clowns.
She's deathly afraid of clowns.
Yes. I think it was like her uncle like ran out dressed as a clown at one point.
Yeah.
So like fear, and then that's the end of that.
Traumatizing childhood experience.
Right, and then we go back to Peyton County, but not with Charles, but like, and Ned's still upset.
Threatened Papon County with its first winter storm. But for the pie maker and Chuck, it was as if the tempest had already hit.
Very
I was
awkward.
thinking clearer. I'd give you space to process everything. I haven't slept since all this happened. Since I made it happen.
If your dad's alive, someone else had to die. Who was it?
Dwight Dixon.
Member.
We found him with a sniper rifle in the cemetery.
What?
Emerson thinks that he was planning on killing both you and me.
Yeah, understandably so.
I mean, did you want to be more upset?
He was a reasonable amount of upset.
But like longer period of time.
I mean, we'll talk about it.
All right. Ned's pissed off, and then they go back to the pile, and Chuck basically tells that Dwight Dixon is dead because of
Yep.
hence,
Yeah.
and that Emerson knows also because he helped bury the body,
Yes.
and that she's sorry for deceiving him about, keeping her father alive, but not that she brought him back, which, like, fair, but also, like...
What happened if I didn't?
I'd have brought you up here and told you that I was reckless and selfish.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
And I can say that I'm sorry for deceiving you, and I will say that forever, but I can't say that I'm sorry my dad's alive, because I'm not.
I
It
mean...
is so overwhelming, and I am so grateful. I don't know how to explain it.
You acted on an impulse so poignant and deep. I know what it feels like. I felt it with you. And I'll never be sorry I did it either.
See, we good. Are you...
Okay.
Again, why do we keep hurting Ned?
Yeah, let's stop hurting the boy.
And he kind of says, like, I understand, like, that part of it because I did the same thing with you. And then she grabbed the tarp and they hug.
Yeah.
And it's adorable. And I'm just like, And, like, I wanted them to kiss because, like, they're right there. But I'm just like, I know.
They cannot. That would have ended very poorly.
Especially with Charles around.
Yes. Not good.
And then also, as, like, they're talking and they got to figure out what they're going to do with Charles now, they see the Lighthouse thing on. And there's, looks like a bot.
Batman.
But not Batman.
I'm not the only one.
What is that?
The body of Nora
Batman?
McQuoddy was what that was.
No.
Mere moments earlier, the meticulous Papon Harbor lighthouse keeper, obsessing over
the
a stubborn
lighthouse.
smudge,
You know the lighthouse.
would make a fatal mistake. Because what Nora didn't notice was her killer. Who wanted everyone to notice her.
Oh.
Dead body.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yes.
Okay.
So we find out this is the body of Nora McQuoddy.
Which sounds a name that sounds suspiciously familiar, just because of the episode title.
Episode title. Yeah. So she is the Papon County Lighthouse keeper, and she was like cleaning off the light part of the lighthouse, and then she got harpooned.
Yeah, she got dead.
Yes.
on the light.
And then somebody turned on the light so that you could see the body.
Yeah, so everybody knew.
Everybody knew, and then also that kind of damaged her body a bit, which, like, I was saying to you, like, I didn't think about it when I first saw this episode. I was like, oh, a light. And then I'm like, oh, wait, lights are hot. Like, the lights we have on are hot, but then a lighthouse light.
It's going to make somebody a little crispy.
Or egg-like.
Yeah, like a fried egg.
You good?
I mean, it's fine.
It's fine. Well, she's dead.
She's dead.
And we think that the murderer, because, like, all we see is the silhouette of, like, a person in, like, a yellow raincoat and, like, rain hat.
Right.
Is that what they're called?
Sure.
Okay. And so, but we think, so the news is, like, saying that it was her husband, Merle McQuoddy. That's the whole thing. Also, we should mention that it's raining. So there's, like, a storm coming in.
The storm is very integral to the plot of the episode.
It is. And then also that's when the power goes out because it's a bad storm.
Yeah.
And so Olive tells a ghost story about Merle McQuoddy.
Merle McQuoddy! Out of all the enigmatic, esoteric local ghost stories, his is my absolute fave. Merle McQuoddy was a salty sailor who left his lighthouse keeper wife and young child on a fishing voyage 10 years ago, only to vanish without a trace. Bum, 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 bum. Mariners swear his ghost haunts the sea caves by the harbor. And when the lighthouse shines, you can hear his ghoulish moans.
And about how he left his wife and their son Elliot to go on a fishing trip. Mm-hmm. And then he was missing for about 10 years.
He was
and then
deserted.
They said that, like, all of stories that, like, his ghost haunts the caves, when in reality he did go on a fishing trip. And he was missing for 10 years, and then he got rescued by a gay family cruise.
Woo!
For 9 years, 11 months, and 5 days, the presumed ghost Merle McQuoddy was very much alive and alone on a deserted island.
Very impressive view.
All the while, Nora kept watch, praying that one day her husband
only had
would
food
come
and
home
water, right?
and life would return to the way it once was. After a near decade of waiting, her prayers were answered when Merle was rescued by a gay family cruise ship.
But Merle McQuoddy was not the...
Gay saved the day once again.
And then that's all we have so far.
Yeah.
And then, so Merle McQuoddy was Dave Keckner,
Okay.
Anchorman.
Oh.
I don't know what, he's like in like that stuff, I forget.
It's in whatever that.
He was the cowboy. Did you ever see Anchorman?
I think I saw the second one without seeing the first one. Don't ask me why.
The guy with the cowboy hat.
Okay, got it.
And he's also in like he's in like The Office and like other stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's been around.
He's been around.
Right.
I'll probably recognize the cast, his credits. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So that's how that's all we have. And then suddenly, but like since it's so dark, we see another silhouette of like a guy in a yellow raincoat and hat, and then we all scream. We see that it's little Elliot McQuoddy.
It's the little boy.
Who has been through a lot.
Hello?
Mr. Codd, I was told I could find you here. My name is Elliot McQuoddy.
Elliot McQuoddy? Son of urban legend Merle McQuoddy.
Please, you have to clear my father of my mother's murder.
Aw. Kid, don't.
My entire life savings.
Aw. Today.
He's been through a lot just in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, so we think he's about like 13?
Yeah, he's probably between like 13 and 14.
Because like he looks like pretty young and like, but like, because I think like when we saw like before, he was like a kid when like his dad went away. So I think now he's probably like, we said like 13.
Yeah.
But he wants Emerson's help in figuring out who murdered his mother because he doesn't think it's his father or to clear his father's name.
Right.
And unfortunately, he pays in change.
Because it's his life savings.
Which is, listen, kids. Here's a lesson. Don't pay in change.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, like, yeah, people don't really like when you do that.
If it's a penny, fine. Like around that. But like, don't pay in change.
Yeah. Okay, who is the actor for this kid? Because he looked very familiar.
Did he?
And he looked so familiar to me, and I really wanted to see who it...
I don't know. I never... Alexander Gould? Oh, he voiced Nemo!
Oh, very nice. Wait, look at his IMDb, because I feel like I've seen him physically in other things.
Well, that's a thing. Oh, he's an adult now, so that's kind of creepy.
People grow up very strange.
No. Weeds? Oh,
Okay.
he was in Supernatural.
Okay.
An episode.
An episode of Supernatural. Okay.
How to Eat Fried Worms.
Okay.
Again, he voiced Nemo, Duck Dodgers. It looks like he was in a lot of episodes of. It looks like he was the main character on Weeds.
Okay. Interesting. That would make sense if I had seen Weeds. But anyway, I
Do you think you just recognize the voice?
No, because it was the face. I was like, why do I recognize this kid's face?
Oh, well, you know his voice at least.
Yeah. Who is he in Supernatural?
He was only in an episode.
Okay.
It's called The Death Takes a Holiday, and he was Cole Grifferton.
I don't think I recognize. But anyway, I reckon somewhere deep within the recesses of my mind, I recognize the kid from somewhere. So he's been in things.
Well, he was the voice. Okay, so he wasn't the voice in Finding Dory, but just in Finding Nemo.
That makes sense because puberty.
Puberty. So there you go. There's a fun fact.
Fun fact of the day.
Hooray! Where was I? So we find out Ellie's alibi was that his mom dropped him off at the movies with some homemade peanut brittle.
Mm-hmm.
Mom dropped me off at the movies with a batch of homemade peanut brittle. Afterwards, when I didn't see the minivan,
You're gonna
I
make
walked
some?
home.
No.
Cops were everywhere. They told me she was dead. And Dad was nowhere to be found.
You want it a la mode? The power's out and the ice cream won't be so much ice as cream soon.
Lots and lots, please. Who knows when I'll get another meal without Mom to make it.
Oh, you poor boy.
And then
Go for some homemade peanut brittle. Do you have any?
No.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
And then she didn't pick him up, and then she walked home and told the police, and they were like, "Kid, your mom's dead."
Oh, good to see you. How's it going? I'll see your mother's dead.
And then he said, "Also, we're saying your mom's dead and your dad killed her."
Mm-hmm.
So.
But he does not believe that.
He does not believe that. Emerson does figure that that's probably what happened and doesn't want to take the case.
Right.
Also, there's some melted ice cream that we just found funny.
The melted ice cream was good.
Yes.
Used to say they saw Merle McQuoddy running away from the city.
All they saw was a yellow raincoat. There's no way he'd hurt my mother. After 10 years of waiting, our family was finally reunited. I don't know where my dad is, and even if I find him, they'll take him away. Excuse me.
Well, hate to be a bitch, but ain't no way in the world I'm taking this case.
You think Merle McQuoddy murdered Nora?
Merle McQuaddy's ship returned minus a few oars.
And then but then Chuck's like, "Hey, I'm going to give you my third of whatever was in this change." Maybe not that much.
Right, yeah. She has other matters to
Like, it
deal
was a
with.
big jar, though. Maybe there's a lot of quarters.
I look like a solid mix. But yeah, so Chuck has other things to deal with, so she's going to be off the case. So, she's pushing whatever she has to Emerson in hopes that he does take the case.
Making it a very easy leap from captain to killer. Nothing this kid had to say makes me think otherwise. Plus, I don't work in the rain.
Clearly you don't hate being a bitch that much.
I'll kick you back my third of the cut. And if you're doing my third of the work, then I'm gonna take a personal day to deal with personal persons.
Well, look like Papa's gonna need a new raincoat.
What shame.
Yep. So then we go to the morgue with Ned and Emerson kind of wants Ned to kill Charles again, which isn't that's not really unfortunately because of Chuck that is no longer an option.
Tap that.
He's like Dipper Pine's age.
Tap Dad back to the grave.
Why would you say that?
Because you are
Yeah, but it
in
looks
over
like
your
it
head. You can put a leash on a
wasn't
dog,
the
you know
crack
why?
yet.
Because it's a dog.
It's
But
like
you
in
can't
between.
put
It's
one
probably
on
15,
a war
yeah.
veteran that was cut down in his prime.
You know, a
Before
lot's
long, he's
happened.
gonna break free. And it just be running the streets telling the world what you can do. Tap that.
This is Chuck's chance at having a family again. I can't. Tap that.
So make it look like an accident. Trip over an ottoman, Dick Van Dyke that ass.
That was a good line. And basically, because he's basically saying Charles is gonna tell the world about this, which might be a possibility.
Right.
Which poor Ned.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of wonder what I wish one thing I do wish if the show would have continued is some kind of thing where they're solving crime and Ned gets knocked out and he has a dream of what would happen if the world found out about his power.
Mm-hmm.
And like a good versus bad kind of thing.
Right.
Like that would have been an interesting episode.
That would have been an interesting.
Thanks.
Episode. What if?
What if? So they find Nora's body, and again she is melty.
She looks like a fried egg.
She does look like a fried egg.
Sunny side up.
Whoa! What happened to her face? She's been effaced.
She's an egg.
Mrs. McQuoddy, present conditions are cold, rainy, with a 100% chance that you're dead. We're hoping that you can tell us who killed you. Oh, hell, we got a melty mouth. Yes or no questions.
She can't nod. How can she nod?
Kind of weird thing with like the eye.
What is that tapping?
I don't think she's tapping. I think she's talking in Morse code.
I just felt like I think the weird thing for me, like and like good job with the makeup department, was like that one eye that was melted.
Oh yeah.
And but because she's all melted, she can't really talk. So she starts like tapping in Morse code. I can't do Morse code. Like,
I wish I knew Morse code. I do not know Morse code. I know. That's all I know.
I've heard
Morse
the
code.
basics for like prison code,
Oh, I don't
which is like I think it's like depending on like how many tap. Like if you're doing like one, it's like 2 across, and then down is like a letter, and then also C and K are the same.
Huh.
I can't do it, but I feel like that takes.
Where did you learn this information?
I watch a lot of Let's Plays, and there's this video game called Her Story, and it's like it's a weird thing where like the two characters like would talk to each other in prison code, but it feels like it takes a long time because you have to like spell out everything. I guess it deals with Morse code too.
Well, the thing is, you don't got much else
Option?
to do in prison, so.
Anyway, but Ned knows Morse code apparently because Charles taught him and Chuck so that they can communicate with flashlights. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, "Hey, who killed you?" And then she taps out PCHS, and then they dead her.
Peaches.
PCHS. Pick-hiss. Pick-hiss. Peaches.
It's an acronym, fool. Papin County Historical Society. An old lighthouse like Nora's bound to have interest. Peaches.
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 Peaches. Is that not it?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, Ned. I feel like Peaches.
That's where my brain went to though.
It
Like
was-
when that was like peaches. That makes good sense. Makes perfect sense to me.
Did it?
Yeah. Peaches? Sure.
Of like what you typed out.
PCHS? Peaches.
Okay, but no, it's an anagram
Okay.
for Papin County Historical Society, who would have had an interest in the lighthouse. Mm-hmm. And so as we're leaving the morgue, Olive comes in and she buys raincoats, which are great.
You do, which was a cinch match because I'm such a ace junior PI in training. Look what Mama got Papa. I bought one for you too, Ned. And one for me too, of course. 'cause
I love
together,
it.
We're a crime-fighting team.
It's all on it.
What do you say, Papa?
I think you and Papa are gonna have a grand old time while I take care of a thing.
Bye.
So long.
Hey, mood swing Sally. Anchors away.
Yes, and they are coordinated for each person.
Yes.
So Olive has olives on her raincoat.
Emerson has
cods.
And then Ned got one with pies.
Pies. It's great.
Where do they sell these, and can we get them? And what would be on ours?
Internet. What would be in ours, guys? If we had raincoats with one little symbol on it, well, like what would ours be? Think about it.
Leave it down in the
Leave
comments.
it down in the comments.
Yep.
Thank you.
So, but then Ned says like he's gonna like not be involved in the case because he's got to do other stuff, which is fair. So then it's Emerson and Olive solving a crime.
Yay!
Yay!
Which is a lot of fun, actually.
Yes.
They make a very good pair. I enjoy watching them do things.
Yep. And also, so we're at back at Quarter's at Ned's old house, and Ned brought a pie, but then Charles says he wants cake, and apparently Chuck didn't like pie; she wanted cake.
Daddy, you sure you don't want some pie?
Thanks, Button, but I'll have cake. Since when do you eat pie? You hate pie.
Well, this is the one that won me over.
No cake at all? Oh well. But let's not worry about
How do you build a
pie.
courthouse? Very carefully.
Yeah, and so Chuck didn't have the wherewithal to tell Ned that she used to not like pie at all. So, which is very funny.
And then, but Ned's a bit offended.
A little bit offended.
So then they have a plan to try to get Charles back out of that house because Lily and Vivian are like right there. Mm-hmm. And back to Ned's apartment. And Charles, we're trying to get, I don't know if it's like his character, just kind of like everything that's happened. Mm-hmm. Like, because he maybe not the best guy.
He's a stubborn old man. Even if he isn't that old, he still kind of acts like a stubborn old man.
How old would he be? 50s?
60s? Late.
Oh, no, because remember, season 1, he would have been 60 in the season 1 episode. No, season 1 episode, so like 60. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but basically, but Ned has like all these rules to like follow, and he's kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I'm like, but why?
Yeah, you can tell Charles likes to he likes to move to the beat of his own drum. He's not really like he has. It's funny because I think he sees the people around him as the kids that he was before he died, so he doesn't really want to take them seriously at all.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah, because it's kind of like, you were a 9-year-old. It's like, but now I'm an adult who owns a business.
Because he does, even for as, like, unreasonable sometimes as you may think he acts, I still think that he acts in a way where he just thinks he is the older, more mature one. So he doesn't have to run that by anyone. He's just like, listen, he's like, I'm the dad. You're the kids. Like, we're just going to do, like, I'm just going to do my thing. Like, don't worry about what I want to do. And that's kind of the attitude that he takes through a lot of this, which is why he comes off as kind of annoying sometimes.
I do kind of wonder, like, if they would just like let him do what he wants, would he have actually told anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. But they were very genuinely afraid of that. But I was like, I don't think so.
Because like thinking about it, that would also hurt his daughter as well.
Exactly.
So like, don't do that.
Right, and he makes a point that he is still extremely protective of her.
Yes, but also, so Charles makes a deal with Ned that like, I'll do what you want me to do, but then you're never going to see my daughter again. And I'm like, they're adults who can make their own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
She's walking behind you and stop to tie your shoe or trip over a forgotten newspaper. No number of redundant precautions can assure that you won't inadvertently kill her for good and forever unless you're not in the same vicinity, which is why we're going to make a deal. I go quietly and play by your rules. And you never see Charlotte again.
Oh my God. Very dramatic. Very dramatic.
You good? Maybe Chuck, talk to your father. Like,
First.
so, and like, especially, I guess, like, because the last time we saw Chuck was like, she was a kid.
Yeah.
And so he made all decisions, but now it's like, hey, she's a woman now.
Right.
She don't need no man. So that's fun. And like, I feel really bad for Ned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Ned is he does try to make the best of it, but it becomes extreme. It is just always increasingly difficult for him
to do stuff because everybody
do anything.
Anyway, back to the mystery.
Yes.
So Emerson and Oliver discussing this Pavement County like first family. Mm-hmm. So they want to figure out like what they wanted with the lighthouse. So we talked to Augustus Gus Papin. Mm-hmm. Who runs the Historical Society, and we get him in by saying that the pie hole might be an historical landmark, which it ain't.
Yeah, he's not happy about even the thought of that.
No, so but then we ask him about Nora's connection to the Historical Society, and that I think they wanted to like sell it or something, so Gus made it, they declared it a historical landmark, and Nora, the guardian.
With her husband lost at sea, Nora couldn't afford the lighthouse upkeep. I used my family influence to declare it a protected historic monument. I appointed Nora the lighthouse steward and the McQuaddys its guardian until the family line dies out or the sun swallows the earth in a solar flare, killing us all.
Well, that means Elliot's in charge of the lighthouse now.
Other than that, I didn't really know Nora. If you want to learn more, talk to Annabelle Vandersloot. They volunteered together in the diorama exhibit. Such a depressing word, diorama. It has dye in it.
All right, buddy.
Grandma.
Okay, so
That kind of thing, and then it would probably pass on to Elliot, which is putting suspicion on Elliot.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know, like I feel weird, like putting suspicion on especially like with that kind of, like with a harpoon, like that might be heavy.
Listen, kids are dicks sometimes.
That's true, but like
it could happen.
He might be a sociopath. Anyway, or a psychopath.
That happens.
But he says they should talk to Annabelle Vandersloot.
Yes.
Who worked with Nora at this diorama exhibit.
Yeah.
You want to Annabelle Vandersloot.
Annabelle Vandersloot. Looks like she wants to talk to the manager. at all times. He's just got one of those haircuts.
Yeah. That's racist against haircuts?
Good.
No. I'll be racist against haircuts. People have certain haircuts.
That's true.
I have had issues with this. I got charged one time for when I was getting my hair blown out.
Yeah.
I got charged because I had long hair.
Really?
I got charged extra. Not that I didn't get charged. I should have gotten charged. But I got charged extra because of that.
I feel like
So.
your hair's not even that long, though.
Like,
Like it's long, but it's not, like, long, you know?
I mean, right now, I didn't straighten it. So it was, like, kind of curled up a bit. But, I mean, it is, but still. Like,
it's like when mine was, like, long. Like, mine was, like, down here, and that is, like, a good
well, when I
6 inches
shower,
longer.
it's kind of like gets to, like, that thumb of my back a
Okay,
bit, like, right
yeah.
there. I think at that point it might have been longer, a little bit, because like,
Alright.
there was a point where I haven't cut it actually in a while. But anyway. Pushing Daisies.
Pushing Daisies.
So, back to we're going back a lot between this mystery, which like I find the mystery interesting, but then I'm also like I think this episode has a good balance of like I thought this mystery is kind of interesting versus like plot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like it's not something that you just want to push off, and especially when you have Emerson and Olive working together, like they're fun. They're fun to watch. So like you want to see what's going on with like the serious stuff. But you also just kind of want to see what the mystery is.
Because listen, like we love Olive and we tell her everything, and she's a part of the team.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. Anyway, so we get Charles to the apartment, and Chuck has got like walkie-talkies and like a box of like his stuff. Mm-hmm. Are we gonna ask him about the blue beret things with Ned's father?
No.
I feel like time and place.
Yeah.
For that stuff, like let's get settled in first. Let's like have the rules. Maybe get him off our ass a bit.
Remember when you're in that peacekeeping organization? Did you commit any war crimes? And also, what was Ned's dad like? And also, but like
that's what kind of makes me think that like Charles might be a tiny bit garbagey because of the way that Dwight and Ned's dad are.
Right. Yeah.
And like they're both.
Yeah, and
especially
their
Dwight.
shared history and everything. Yeah.
Like I can believe that somebody can change when like
Right.
it seems like I mean unlike Ned's father, Charles stuck around when he had a kid.
Yeah, I mean Charles comes off as someone who, he. Maybe if he had like a weird past or maybe a little bit of a dick at times, like seemed very dedicated to the concept of being a good father, which is different than Ned's dad, who
we'll get to,
who maybe even if he, regardless, we don't really know who he was outside of things, even if he did kind of roll with that crowd.
Yeah,
he did not seem dedicated to being a good father in a way that we could visibly see. So,
anyway. We're not going to talk about that now. So,
definitely not.
But Chuck leaves, and Ned and Charles are talking, and Ned made a cake. Cake.
Right. Well, I'll leave you to settle in. Baby, come on.
This is fine.
This is fine. It's always great meeting the folks,
especially when one of them's been dead, and for years. That does look like a cake.
There's milk to go with the cake.
I mean, Ned is a baker. Like,
I wanted to.
He can make
it's
cake.
Huge.
Yeah, because he's trying.
He's trying, and then also like I think it's like this thing of like Ned only bakes pies. I'm like, no, we went to culinary school.
Yeah,
you can make a cake.
Which is what I really liked about that one episode earlier in the season where like Ned is talking. Ned is like a foodie, and when he talks about food, like it's very exciting because like we do get to see like, you know, it's not just this one like little niche thing that he does. It is something that he did like study and like expand upon, and so it kind of adds a little bit of dimension to his character when he goes into like foodie mode, which is very fun. But and yes, it's a very good looking cake. I would have liked a slice of it.
It looked like a good cake, and like look like there's like chocolate pieces on it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, how long? I'm wondering like how long was he in the apartment? Because like that cake kind of take a little bit like a while to make, and like it looked like it was nicely decorated.
Cakes take a while to make.
Is it? Yeah. Ned gives him a book about like rules and stuff, and I guess like Charles isn't really into rules, but it's kind of like you're not even giving.
Again, because I think he sees it as like these kids are trying to tell you what to do. It's like it's like if you were like babysitting a kid and then like a kid hands you like this piece of line paper with like number 1 scribbling like the S's spelled backwards and be like 1, don't touch my shit, and you'd be like, what? You're a child. Like I think that's really how he sees it.
You know what I kind of think they should have done? I think Chuck needed to handle the situation.
Yes, because they say they're going to handle it together, but this is one of those things where it's like, you got to work this out with.
And it's like, Ned,
them.
I think Chuck should have told him the rules. And, like, said, like, if you don't do this, you're not only going to hurt Ned, who I know you don't, like, care about that much, but you're also going to hurt me. And it's going to look, it's like, this is bad for me, too.
Right.
So do this. Also, like, so he brings up the fact that, like, Ned was the reason that he died.
No harm in double bagging it, eh? Sir, I'm really trying here.
Instead of buttering me up, why don't we deal with the elephant in the room? You killed me. I knew your parents, Ned. You were raised right. How about an apology?
I'm sorry.
Hell's forgiveness is going to be a long time coming. You need to respect that.
Are you going to blame an 8-year-old?
Now, if you excuse me,
9-year-old?
I got a bunch of reading to do.
While
Who told him?
He's probably a smart guy. He probably figured it out.
But how would he figure out that he just... Oh, because of, like, did we tell Charles about the minute rule? Of, like, what happens?
No, but like, I don't. She probably made a comment about something, and he probably put it together himself again because he seems like a fairly smart guy.
But again, we're blaming But again, like, I think there was a better way to, like, explain the situation and, like, but I don't think I don't care about your anxieties, kid. I don't
Parenting.
care. I'm Team Ned forever.
Yeah, Ned tries his best.
And, like, Ned does apologize for killing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, he's like, that'll take a while for me to get over. And I'm just like, ugh.
Childhood trauma.
Yay! We're fine.
We're all fine. Anyway, what happens next?
So we meet Annabelle Vander Sloop. It's not, I thought it was Sleuth. It's Sloop.
Sloop.
Oh, they're gonna go.
Well, I'm not popping.
And do you want to talk? You want to talk about her look, like her outfit?
Adolf Vandersloot went out with a bang. An errant 4th of July rocket flew into an open window while he was taking inventory. One can never add enough glitter to a husband's memory. Miss Snook, do you see how your pony death might make a mockery of our legitimate efforts?
Do you see how you have cotton balls stuck to your ass?
Oh, I was looking for that.
Yeah, well, I'm
looking for something.
I talked about her can I speak to manager haircut.
Do you want to talk about her outfit?
It's very prim and proper. But it's she seems to enjoy her crafts a lot because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's like everywhere.
So they were both making dioramas honoring their late husbands.
Yes, and diorama is a very, very exclusively a widow hobby. You can't do it unless you.
She was mean to Olive, so like we don't like her.
Yeah, we don't really like her because she was rude to Olive.
But Annabelle has a diorama honoring is of like this factory honoring her husband's. It's a munitions magnet, Adolf Vandersloop.
Yes.
And he apparently died on a 4th of July. A firework went into the building and then exploded.
So that's, what goes around comes around.
We learned you can never have enough glitter.
That's true.
Which is true on her.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere on her. And then she's got like cotton balls stuck to her ass.
Yeah.
Oh, so Annabelle said that she was with Nora when he found out that Merle was alive.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it was kind of like figuring, because like I get if a parent's gone for 10 years, not because of like them being a bad parent, but because of being lost at sea.
Yeah, that happens.
That happens. It's kind of like a you can forgive them kind of thing, but it's also like the dynamic has like completely changed.
Yeah.
Especially like if like the kid was like a toddler when you left, and now they're like a teenager. It's kind of like, so it felt like there was kind of like a how do we do this thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then Nora finally, like, apparently Elliot and Merle were kind of talking about taking a trip around the world.
Yeah.
And Nora was like,
No, we can't do that.
And then and then she's like, oh yeah, and then Merle snapped and then murdered his wife. We're good.
Obviously.
Also, she's mean to Olive because Olive's not a widow.
Yeah, correct.
In any way, and then when she's
just single.
She tells a story about like a horse. Maybe like that could do it, and we're like, no,
that was not the case.
Nope. And then also we wonder why Elliot didn't mention the feud with his mother.
Yes, because so that puts suspicion on him because maybe, perhaps that he really wanted to go on a trip with his father, but his mother wouldn't let him, so they axed her.
I guess this is important. So apparently they were trying to sell the lighthouse, or somebody was trying to sell the lighthouse. But they couldn't because it's an historical landmark.
Right.
But we meet the guy who's like trying to do the real estate thing, which is Willie Gherkin. And basically Elliot asked him for 10 grand up front for like the selling and stuff or something, like whatever. So then Emerson's kind of thinking that Merle killed Nora, and then Elliot set up this like whole ruse so that they would be distracted. Everybody would be distracted, and then he could go off with his dad.
Right.
Hey, try this on for size. So Merle kills Nora, and then Elliot hires me to take the suspicion off Merle. And then Elliot goes and gets the funds so they can take their little father and son trip.
But if they did score a sloop, there's no way they're taking it out in this weather. They must be hiding. Let's smoke them out.
I just love the height
I can't believe you got me working in this downpour.
Yeah,
I love the
what's up with
ponchos.
that anyway, Rain
Me
Hater?
too. Are they ponchos or raincoats?
I get it if you were a
Would you mean that Elliot was like either involved or like figured it out? Because like, why would he want to be with a murderer?
Right.
Then they're still, but they're like, well, they're not going to leave now because it's a storm.
Right.
So they're not going to leave now. So they're talking. So then Emerson and Oliver are like, we can just smoke them out and like figure out if like, they're probably still around. Emerson tells the story about his ex and that he hates the rain now because him and his ex used to just like snuggle up in the rain
Yeah,
with
just have a good
brandy and
time.
tomato soup, and it seems adorable. And then as they're talking, Oliver says, maybe we should check out the caves because like there's like sounds in there. So let's do that.
Yes.
Pat, are you trying to give me the heebie-jeebies or something?
Or a theory as to where the murderous McQuaddys are holed up. Remember the sea caves Merle's ghost supposedly haunted with his howls? There's nothing haunted about them. This sound is created when the wind rushes in off the water, kinda like... Elliot knows those caves like the back of his hand.
If he's in there, he's gonna get the back of mine.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Shenanigans.
Back to Ned and Chuck and the stress.
Stress.
Ned's making pies and is like Chuck's gonna go to the store and get some stuff. I guess like does she still need to disguise this guy's?
I don't know.
I feel like she had like a 15 minutes of fame. Is like people gonna remember?
I don't think so at that point.
It's like maybe you look like a resemblance of somebody.
Right.
And then Chuck's kind of amused by this idea of like her dad torturing her boyfriend, which like I get because like she never got to do that. But then also like Chuck, this is serious.
Yeah.
Because they're both adults, but they're both also 12.
Yes.
I hope that something's happening I never thought would happen. My dad's torturing my first boyfriend.
Yay.
Exactly. We get to be the teenagers we never thought we'd get to be. No, you because you were locked up in some boarding school, and me because I was shut up with my shut-in aunts. And now you get to be the studly varsity quarterback, and I get to be the flirty head cheerleader. Which
So they're
means
12
we
too.
can break curfews
They have
and
been
mislead our parents
this whole time.
and generally sneak around.
Or in high school.
Yeah.
Because that's all she's saying. It's like, hey, like you're like the quarterback. I'm like the cheerleader. We can sneak around and like it'll be fun.
Yeah. And their whole relationship throughout this whole show is very much like young love.
Because they never got to.
Because, it's the people getting to experience, like people going through like early life experiences later in life because they didn't get to for various reasons.
Yep. And then they kiss through saran wrap and it's adorable. But then guess who's downstairs?
Guess who saw?
Charles.
Mr. Charles himself.
So then Ned's all upset and like, I think at this point, like his, because like, he had like a brim and like it probably got really filled up when he found out that Charles was still alive and like it was like halfway full with like all stuff with Dwight. It got to a brim and then it's like kept going up and now it's like. So then he kicks everybody out of the pie hole because like he's freaking out about this.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's really bad because he's like yelling and basically like, and Charles is like, look, I've been walking around for an hour. Nobody said anything. It's like, you can just say I'm a burn victim, which like.
No cake at all?
I made you a cake.
Not one for chocolate.
Who's not for chocolate? Everyone at least tolerates it. Mr. Charles.
He's fine.
You can't be in public like this. If someone sees you.
I'll say I'm a burn victim. I need to say anything at all. I've been walking around for an hour. No one's looked at me twice. I wonder if I get myself one of those handicap parking placards.
There's no driving. That's rule number 17.
Why am I supposed to play by the rules when you don't, Romeo?
I'm just trying to keep you safe.
Look, kiddo, you may be able to scare Charlotte with stories of mobs and pitchforks and torches, but I know the truth.
The villagers show they aren't coming for me. No, they're coming for the guy.
I mean, you could.
Fair.
You could just like.
Yeah, no, but like nobody's gonna see a guy like that and be like, "Oh my God, that was a man that was dead and now he is alive again."
Because again, like nobody's gonna immediately go to guy has magical powers.
Right, exactly. That's not
which
something
like
that's easy
I
to figure out.
understand that like, but like I think it's the idea of like somebody but like still like if you see somebody who's been dead for 20 years and they come back, you might have questions. You're not gonna go to magic, but then also like there is that fear of like.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it's a fear. So sometimes it's not always rational.
And then Charles you're because he thinks like, oh, this is just about you though, because they don't go after the monster, they go after like
they don't go after Frankenstein, they go after his monster. So
no. Charles says didn't
said.
want the monster, they wanted the scientists.
Right.
And I'm like, they're probably gonna want all of you, and like, but like
Yes.
he's saying like this is just about you, and he's like, it's not though.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that kind of thing. And then Ned kind of says they went after the monster, not Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. And then Bruin mop fight.
And then then things escalate.
Magic finger.
Hate to break it to you, Charles, but no one cared about Dr. Frankenstein. They were after his monster. Regardless of what you think, my priority is your daughter's
They're
well-being.
coming after all of you, and it's a lot of stuff. Why can't...
Father, I'll be the judge of that.
You're not leaving.
Sword fight? Oh my God. I don't like that. This thing can in no way end well. I'm very scared. And the way that conversations between men sometimes do.
With fighting.
With fisticuffs.
It wasn't a fight,
not
though.
Fisticuffs, but yeah, it was. I was concerned during this whole thing.
Or is that like he was gonna touch?
Accidentally, yeah. Oh my God, that would have been the worst. That would have been the worst. I'm glad that didn't happen. But like that would have been
That would have been super dark.
That would have been bad.
That would have been bad, and also like you wouldn't have a plot with Charles anymore, because then he would have been dead.
Yeah.
And then also like, what would that mean for?
Yeah.
But then also like wouldn't it be in a more that would have led to like because they have a fight like later on, but that would have led to like a bigger fight.
Big fight.
Because not only would he be dead, but then also Ned would have been like, this wouldn't have happened if you didn't do this in the first place.
Right.
Everybody's at fault. Maybe like Ned like least of all. I'm just gonna keep defending Ned because like he didn't deserve this.
When in doubt, defend Ned. That's kind of how we operate here.
He didn't.
How would he close?
I mean, I know like he was trying not to bring Charles back to life. I know that he did, but did he keep him alive?
That was not his decision.
No. So then they finish the fight. Ned kind of like locks him in the pantry. So we good for now.
Mm-hmm.
Emerson and I'll decide to investigate the cages, and they find Merle, and he's in there with stuff. So we have questions.
Mm-hmm.
He says that Elliot's gathering supplies and claims that basically that Merle and Nora, when he came back, were trying to like revive their marriage a bit, but 10 years.
It's hard.
It's hard. You become different people.
Mm-hmm.
For the past month, Nora and I had been trying to put our marriage back on its old course. But 10 years apart leaves you different people. The other night, while Elliot was at the movies, Nora confessed to me that she'd found her bearings with another man. Bewildered, I sought shelter here.
Why not just clear things up with the authorities?
Because I'm a ghost with an alibi as thin as fishing line.
So it wasn't working out, which like
makes sense.
Fair. And then Nora admits that she was seeing somebody else as well, which like I think is fair after like 10 years of somebody.
After like 10 years, that makes sense.
Well, it's kind of like if it's like an army guy and like they've been missing for like I think it's like once they're missing for like 5 years, they're like legally dead.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's been I think like once you hit like that point, then you're like
right.
I think that's like totally reasonable to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that Merle was in the caves when she died, and he's got an alibi as thin as fishing line.
As thin as fishing line. Yes.
And then we're still wondering, like, but then we still think Elliot might have something to do with it, but Elliot didn't know about the other man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is like hard to tell a kid.
It is.
Yeah.
Merle doesn't know the name of the man that his wife was seeing, but he did find like a Dutch like love spoon that the man gave to Nora, and the spoon has AP, loves, and M.
Men used to give it to their women as a symbol of the sweetness that they'd feed each other forever. I've read the entire Harlequin library.
I didn't give my wife this spoon.
No. A lover did. A lover who murdered her in a jealous rage before she had a chance to tell him that she was leaving her husband. See? Engraving says AP Hearts NM. NM is Nora McQuoddy, but who in the hell is AP?
Papin is a Dutch name. Scurvy, there's 50 Papins in this county alone.
But only one Augustus.
Gus Papin!
So we know AP is Augustus Gus Papin.
Gasp.
So we're thinking husband comes back, scorned lover, kills girl.
Right.
The end.
There.
We did it. Back to the pie hole.
Pie hole.
Chuck comes back after going to the store, and we find that her dad's locked in the pantry and is like feigning being super injured.
Yeah. Right.
Which Chuck is we feel this, like we find this out, like Chuck has kind of kept this like idea in her head that her father's like always been this like great like guy and perfect and would never do anything like that, when in like reality maybe not perfect.
He's a human.
Yes.
That was an act.
An act of foolishness. Why would you bring him to the pie hole?
I didn't. He left my apartment of his own accord, wandered around for an hour, and then grabbed a seat at the counter.
No, he wouldn't do that. He knows the rules.
Didn't you hear? Your dad's not one for chocolate or rules, so from this point on, he's going to be doing his own thing.
All right, I will go upstairs and I will talk to him.
We said we'd handle this together. I'm coming with you.
No, you're far too upset. I'm not having you fighting again.
He's a big boy. He can handle it.
Yeah, well, maybe I can't.
It's very funny that you would think he's a perfect human being just because literally your existence is based on the fact that he was having an affair. So, anyway, continue.
She's like stressed handling all this stuff with like Ned and Charles and then fighting, and then Ned's like, well, then you handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're like, great.
Yeah. He's like, all right, out of my hands. You do this.
Like, probably.
You want this, you deal with it.
That's fair.
Fair, though.
Fair.
Like,
fair.
It's a fair one.
So then Chuck goes upstairs, and Charles has like a cookbook, and they're like, we're gonna leave tonight, and she's like, no, what? Mm-hmm. And like that kind of thing, and she just kind of wants like, I think she kind of wishes that like she was still 8 and when her dad was alive, and they could have that whole relationship thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, sorry, you can't, and then.
Dad, I just want things to be how they used to be.
Well, they can't.
Come with me, Button. Well, pie is simple. It's limited. Just a bit of pastry and filling. Cake is complex. Layered with treasures waiting to be
Cake is
discovered.
just sponge and icing.
Which one do you choose?
Occasionally. But also pie can have icing on it. Charles goes on a whole thing about pies are simple and cakes are complex, and then we're like, well, they're both dessert. He's like, pies are just crusts and filling, cakes are layered, and I'm like, cakes are sponge and icing.
But both are very tasty.
Both are very tasty.
I would like at least one of them right now.
No.
Oh, okay.
You get neither. And then I'm like, you can also like make like a pie that's like a cake thing kind of, and also like you can put fruit on cake. It's like fine.
It's fine.
I don't know if Charles has good metaphors. Basically, like, how can you settle for like a life of confinement? Like the Chuck guy knew was like wanted to see the world, and then I think like somebody should say to like we should say to like, yeah, that's when she was 8,
right?
And like, you know, she is fun.
Yeah,
she helps solve murders.
Woo!
All the time.
Yeah, I know. She's living a pretty exciting. She's living exciting. Like,
and I do think that like
go places.
And I feel like within like a year or two, she could probably travel more because like again, people are gonna forget her face.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's saying like I think like he kind of also thinks like Ned's like controlling her, which isn't the case.
Right.
Because again, she has her own apartment.
Right. Yeah.
Which she can't stay in because of Olive, sadly. So Olive talks to Annabelle about Gus and to see like if she knows anything about his involvement with Nora. And also basically saying, like, I told the other widows your story. And we were, like, made it so happy because it's better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. Why are we so mean to Olive?
Everyone, like, Olive just can't catch a break. Everyone's just rude to her.
Very blessed we are. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than to be you. You'll have to excuse me. I have an appointment to get to.
This bitch.
Ah, sad Miss Snook. See you at Tuesday's potluck.
Out on the Savile Row Glen Plant Cashmere.
It's just papier-mâché paste. It'll come right out. See you at the potluck on Tuesday.
But then also say this, Annabelle, as she's leaving, she bumps into Emerson and then puts his hand on like his chest, and there's papier-mâché. We'll get to that.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
So Emerson was like snooping around, and he found a proposal to redevelop the lighthouse into like a resort and like spa kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which like, can you do that for a historical society, or for something that's like a bit like it's historical and like you?
Don't think about it.
Okay, so we're figuring that Gus planned to turn the lighthouse into like a water park and like a hotel and like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, then that's why he probably wanted to get rid of Nora, and probably since Merle's been gone for a while, like he doesn't matter, so we wanted to get rid of Elliot. So like, let's go back to the lighthouse, and then we're back to the lighthouse. Now it's snowing.
Yes, it has turned over now
because weather.
Mm-hmm.
And Elliot is in trouble.
Oh, okay. It just switched over like that.
Oh, hell no!
This is fine.
Fine, Papin, step away from the boy.
If I do, he'll die!
Is that reverse psychology? That's exactly what you want.
What I want is to save him!
Is that reverse psychology?
He didn't get the kid!
Just please
Well, who the hell did?
Who the hell
Before he falls to his death.
was Elliot?
He's dangling precariously.
Yep, with like a bunch of flags, and the lighthouses are tall.
Yes, it would be a considerably long job.
So we're like, save the child, but also we see Gus there, and he's like holding up for your life, and like he doesn't seem like that strong of a guy.
No, he seems like he's a little
probably like from what
stumpy.
From what other stuff we see of him, probably a nice man.
He seems nice enough.
Yeah. So as they're trying to save him, and then Emerson helps, we find out that this wasn't Gus who like was doing this. This was Elliot. Basically, he realized that the storm was bad, so he wanted to do his mama proud and like get the flag up, but then he slipped and fell.
Yeah.
Which is like, maybe get better shoes for slippage.
Aw, poor kid. Poor kid really can't catch a break.
Yes. So that's what we said. Gus goes, they all go back inside, and they're trying to figure out, like, did Gus kill Nora? And then we see another guy in the raincoat with a harpoon.
Yes.
And then he shoots the harpoon, and it's like that gag thing.
Yeah. Yeah, with a banner for the
Papin
resort.
County Lighthouse Resort and
Yes.
the day spa. Then there's a quartet. Fine.
Good morning.
It's fine. See?
Welcome to the Papin Lighthouse Resort and Day Spa.
I'll be your candle on the water. My love for you will always burn. I know you're lost and drifting, but the clouds are lifting. Don't give up, you'll have somewhere to.
Shut the acapella.
There's just like a random barbershop quartet that goes and likes to and is performing a little tune.
Well, I mean, they're trying to sell what they're doing.
Yeah.
Also, Olive starts singing.
A good sales pitch. Of course she does. Why not?
I do kind of like another going on. You were just like kind of weirded out, and then
a little weirded out.
And then Emerson just points his gun. It's like, shut up.
Shut the acapella.
Shut the acapella. If you watch Pitch Perfect,
I don't think Pitch Perfect was out by this
it
time.
wasn't. Pushing Daisies predates this.
Pushing Daisies
did it first. So anyway, so that's what Gus wanted to do. He wanted to sell Elliot on this.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, so we learned that Gus and Nora were actually, this was like Nora's idea as well. Maybe not her idea, but like she was working with them to do this.
Uh-huh.
Probably to get like more money in and like, stuff for Elliot. And then Elliot's like, so you guys were dating?
Aw, yeah.
Oh, so they didn't tell. And then they kind of like broke it off so that Merle and her can like work out together. But then they couldn't, and just like this kid's heart is just crushed. And Olive notices that there's a glitter on the window as well.
Yes, there's glitter everywhere.
And also there's some paper mache on Gus's head.
Mm-hmm. So that paints us a picture.
It paints us a picture that the first picture is that Gus was not only like sleeping with Nora, but also with Annabelle Vandersloot.
Crazy craft lady was up here, but instead of a hot glue gun, she brought a stone cold harpoon.
Mrs. Vandersloot was my mother's best friend. Why would she kill her?
Because Nora wasn't the only squeeze Papin here was squeezing. Turn around there, shortstop.
There it is.
Paper mache. You were getting down with the diorama dame.
I damn that dame every time she made an advance. Like tonight, in my office, and a dozen nights before.
Come on, Papin.
Mm-hmm. And that she got upset, and Annabelle, and then killed Nora.
Yeah.
But it's not, I think it was more just like Annabelle might be a bit crazy.
Annabelle maybe trying to see things that aren't there.
see things that aren't there because Gus kind of says, like, we might have hooked up years ago at a Christmas party.
Right.
So, like, it's like, again, like, Gus is actually a good guy.
He's just like a chill dude.
He's a chill dude. Like, that kind of thing. Kind of like the Rose of the Rosemary Kennedy. That was a dark reference. You know the Rosemary Kennedy story?
I don't think I know the Rosemary Kennedy story.
So she's a Kennedy. I think she was the oldest daughter.
Okay.
And she had I think she might have had some, like, a little bit of mental issues and also she was rebellious. And her father was kind of annoyed with her, so then he got her lobotomized.
Oh my God.
Yeah, lobotomy. Thinking, like, this will cure her.
Oh my God.
And then, lobotomies.
They don't really do that.
So then she kind of, like, had the mental capacity of a 2-year-old and had to live in a mental place for the rest of her life. But it did, like, encourage her sister to... And, like, basically they kept her hidden, like, didn't tell anybody. I don't even think told, like, the other kids.
Oh my God. I need to go to bed immediately after that.
The positive is that I think, what's her sister's name? Like Eustace or Eugenia?
No, whatever.
One of the sisters. I'm sorry. I'll put it in there because of, like, this experience created the Special Olympics.
Oh.
So,
Interesting.
Good things come out of this.
So don't lobotomize your children.
Didn't we already establish lobotomies are bad?
Yes, but we could always reiterate the point for the folks at home.
Lobotomies are bad.
Lobotomies are bad.
Just therapy.
Therapy, it's easy.
Therapy. And it's like there is, like, another thing. More therapy. Yeah. Different kinds of therapy. Mm-hmm. Don't lobotomize.
Please don't lobotomize people. Anyway, would you like to continue?
No. Not done.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. So we do that, and then we're downstairs, and there's Annabelle, and she's laid out a bunch of gunpowder left by her husband, and she's gonna blow them up. And I'm like, do we have to blow up a child?
Yeah, let's not.
And also, like, the quartet.
Children.
What did the quartet do?
They were just singing some tunes.
They were just
having a
there.
time. Yeah, man. I don't.
But then Olive kind of talks her down, and is basically saying, like, look, I understand, like, the feeling of, like, you wanting a man, like, knowing you guys belong together, but then he doesn't see it and is, like, with somebody else.
Right.
The rest of you don't know what it's like to know in your heart that you belong with somebody. And if you can only eliminate everybody else so that maybe he'd finally grasp what you've been trying to show
Get
him.
it?
That feeling that you've been dying to recapture.
If only for a moment.
That moment never comes, so what do? Decide not to love Ned?
Gus.
See, I tried that.
Me too.
Did it work?
Heck no.
Heck no. So you know what I say?
Nice.
Annabelle Van der Steen
I want to save the
did
day.
move on. She was
Good
no
job,
longer
Olive.
sad.
It's like, you try to get over Ned, Gus, and then, but you don't. So it's like, what do you do? And then she, blows up the match thing.
Right.
And then Annabelle goes to jail.
Nice.
And then Marilyn and Elliot get the profits that they need, and they go around the world. Hooray.
Mm-hmm.
And Olive gets some of the money from Emerson, and then they're talking, basically saying, like, Olive still has feelings for Ned.
Yeah, because, yep. Yeah, no, the way that Olive, what's the word I'm looking for? Not disengage, de-escalates.
The situation is...
Yeah, the way she de-escalates the situation is just so good. It's just so good. And yeah, basically she reveals there, like, by the way, she's just got feelings for Ned. Surprise! Eternal flame. But yeah, Emerson does be like, you got feelings for Ned, you're not gonna murder anybody, are you?
And she's like, no.
And so, but you can tell they got a soft spot for each other.
Yeah, so they basically, Emerson says, like, if you ever want a job here, just, let me know, and I'll do that. And then spin-off show, no.
That
would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
Anyway, so that's the conclusion of that. Back to the pie hole. What can go wrong?
What can go wrong with the pie hole?
Chuck explains that basically, like, her feelings about, like, I saw my father as this, and then he dies, and then that's how I always remembered him. Basically, like, realizing that, like, that's, like, not really what her father was, and also she's not that little girl anymore, so she says, like, I'm staying here. Yeah. This is what I'm doing. And basically, Chuck says, okay, he's upstairs, and he's going to apologize, and we're going to sort this out. Not what happens.
Not what happens.
Turns out he left the book and a spoon and a note saying, I choose to, and then steals Ned's car.
Yeah.
And goes away. That's not a face of positivity, is it?
Come on.
That's a face of concern.
Yeah.
Dad? Come on, grab your hat. We're taking hot toddies up to the roof to watch the snow. No! Dad!
dang. You just... So long, Charles.
The end.
Wherever you may have run off to. So long.
So, that's good.
Yeah, so that was a thing that happened.
Again, I don't think he would tell. I don't think, like, I don't know what he would get out of telling.
He really has nothing to gain by, like, revealing his identity.
The only thing is, like, yeah, like, he takes this, like, guy away from Chuck, but then also Chuck's gonna be mad at him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's, like, the only ever reason I think he would reveal himself is if he was trying to, like, get back in contact with somebody from his life before. Because, like, can't really get around that. But
who else would he want to get in contact with besides like Vivian and Lily?
Theoretically, just I don't know, maybe a good old buddy. People have friends, right? But yeah, no. Otherwise, like I don't think he's that big of a liability. I mean, yes and no, but
I think it definitely traumatized Chuck a bit.
Yes, it did.
It did.
Yeah,
a lot.
So yeah, she yeah.
We'll do it on the next episode.
Yeah,
where a lot happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think
it
of this
just keeps
one?
happening. This episode, I think I like this episode. I mean, we get to like, see the consequences of the things that happened, sort of.
I think we have more
more consequences next episode, I think, but at least we get to kind of see where that happens. I was curious to get to know Charles as a character, and it's kind of funny that I've kind of talked about how I kind of interpret his character, but like he seems like chill, but kind of an asshole at the same time, but like not in a way that's like overtly jerkish, just in like a more run of mill kind of way. So he's an interesting character. I'm curious to kind of see what else we learn about him as we go on. But yeah, so I think I enjoyed this. People keep doing things, don't they? And making mistakes,
like humans,
making questionable choices, like humans, I suppose.
Do you want some facts?
I would love
trivia.
some facts, yeah.
So, episode's working title was Lighthouse and Candle on the Water. Mm-hmm. Who sings that song?
Oh, I don't know.
It probably says it in the facts, so I didn't look. Cultural references. Yes, this episode is a homage to the 1977 Walt Disney picture film Pete's Dragon.
Oh.
Among the references, both...
I don't think I've seen Pete's Dragon, at least not in its entirety.
Me neither. They did a remake, and I heard it wasn't that bad.
Oh, I did see the remake
was
of
it
Pete's
good?
Dragon. It was whatever. I didn't really care about it.
It was fine.
I watched it. You can tell I didn't really care about it because when I said I've never seen Pete's Dragon and I didn't follow it up with I think I saw the remake, I just forgot it existed for a minute. Until you said it again, I was like, oh my god, it did. I don't remember anything from it. There was a dragon.
Yes.
I think it was furry.
I thought in the original was animated.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking the remake.
Okay.
In the remake, it was.
I thought it would have been like CGI and like scaly.
Yes, it was CGI, but they put fur on it, which was
Okay.
a questionable decision because dragons are typically scaly.
The references are both plots contain lighthouses. The family name of McQuoddy is similar to the town name of Passamaquoddy.
Okay.
The character of Nora McQuoddy is named after Helen Reddy's character Nora, who was also a lighthouse keeper. The song Candle in the Water is from this movie. The son's name is Elliot. Oh, the villain of Pete's Dragon, Doc Tearson, was played by Jim Dale, who's the narrator of this show.
Oh, we just
Fun
gone
times.
full circle, aren't we?
Oh, the father's name is Merle. Who's like performs Candle in the Water? Oh, it's from Pete's Dragon.
Yes.
Like the song is. I thought they meant like it was just a normal song.
No, yes.
Hooray.
Cool. That's fun. Them's the facts.
So that's the bit. So we're starting to, like, remember, like, after Comfort Food, you were, like, concerned about, like, there's some stuff that, like, happens. I mean, it kind of feels like we kind of, like, brushed, like the stuff with, like, Dwight was kind of, like, are we going to deal with this?
Yeah.
So this kind of, like, lets us, like, begin, like, some of the stuff that we're dealing with, and then the next episode is more of dealing with the consequences of our actions. Because, you know, maybe we shouldn't undead people.
Maybe we shouldn't undead people. So, yeah, we'll see when we get there.
You want to get there now?
I kind of want to get there.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about Season 2, Episode 10, The Norwegians.
The Norwegians.
Not all of the Norwegians.
Just some of the Norwegians.
Sure, it's a lovely country.
Woo! Stay tuned.
You know what I was thinking? Like, if they, like,
around the bleachers.
latex it enough, or, like, plastic it enough, and then wear a condom, they could. You're welcome?